It's always the wait to see if it worked. Definitely leave a comment in the chat box if this is working. Hey, there we go. All right. Ah, shit. I wonder, I got a freaking time. I meant to time the difference, but all right, here we go. I'm gonna do my second live stream ever, and my first one I think was back in like June. So I'm really stacking up the live streams now. LOZ is high as fuck right now. Awesome. I quit about a month ago, or else I'd be right there with you. Oh, what up? Wow, a lot of familiar faces in the chat here. The Mother Station, Kaylee, Jesse. All right. Cool. Well, let's see. I just got a couple things I wanted to go over tonight, and I don't know, just hang out, little midnight live stream action. Oh, we got Tanet Booth in the house tonight. All right, let's see if this works. Okay, yeah. All right, that should be. You know what? I should open up a link. Let's see. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, screw it. I'm just gonna go ahead and assume that worked and that you guys can see now me and my YouTube open. But wow. Does anyone know? Anyone want to drop? Hey, Craig Mason, my man. Anyone want to drop how many people are watching? I just wanted originally I just wanted to make fun of the fact that friggin' Joe Biden here took off his mask to cough, because that kind of goes against the masks, right?
The kinds of investment that will stimulate.
Isn't that like the whole point of the masks right there, to block coughing and stuff like that? But you know, they're a bunch of tools. But yeah. See, I'm a lot more awkward when I'm not doing this for Craig. Hey, 100 people watching. All right. Yeah, so let's get into some stuff now. Awesome. And by the way, yeah, I'm sure you guys see the new channel name, employing a little camouflage, which I guess is a little unfortunate for my view totals, because as people were like getting notifications for this channel name, like, who the frig is this? I must have got so many comments in the last couple of days saying like, I didn't sign up for this page. But naturally, you should know by now that YouTube's never gonna subscribe you to a page like this on their own. If anything, it'd be the exact opposite. So, but all right, so let's see. So this I thought was pretty cool from a couple hours ago. Trump was nominated for another Nobel Peace Prize. Now, he didn't get one of them that he was nominated for. I believe this is the third one now, possibly even the fourth. But he was nominated by a Finnish member of the European Parliament called the American President to receive the honor, Laura Huhtasaari. Like It's Sorry, Sepultura, It's Sorry. And a member of the right-wing Finns party wrote a Nobel committee to nominate Trump for the 2021 prize in, quote, recognition of his endeavors to end the endless wars. It's pretty obvious at this point, and I got something for this right after this, but he is really making an effort. And like I said, he had mentioned that he would like, or he was hinting at, withdraw from Afghanistan by Christmas, and the Taliban welcomes it. He was actually talking with the Taliban to do this earlier, about at least for like a big decrease, and that's when they ran their fake news about how he was letting bounties go on Afghanistan. I mean, if it isn't obvious by now that they dig these wars, and believe me, I supported it in the beginning. I certainly did not think in 2002 that we'd still be there 18 years from now. So shame on me. But so this is another thing. He's tried pulling the troops out of Syria. He's talking about Iraq, a major de-escalation in Iraq. He was just talking about. So this should be pretty. Hey, Red Pill. Hey, right on, brother. So this should be pretty uplifting to anyone who's had enough of these wars. I'm sure our soldiers are the key ones who have had enough of these wars. And just another thing, talking about Afghanistan. He was just talking about Iraq, and he was nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. Nobel Peace Prize is so corrupt at this point anyway. It doesn't even matter. He won't get it. Although maybe they'll feel obligated now since he keeps getting nominated for it. For the most part, I mean, they gave it to Obama literally just for getting elected as a non-white president. That's it. They just handed it out. So it's not exactly what it used to be, but he definitely deserves one. He deserves several in my estimation. Here we go. This is another one I thought cool. What was cool for any of my fellow musicians in the chat. Johnny Rotten of the Sex Pistols said that he is, of course, I'm voting for Trump. And how could you blame him, man? This dude has never been shy, if anyone knows Johnny Rotten. He says he's definitely voting for President Trump in America's upcoming presidential election, railing against the establishment politicians who's been running the country. And why would you want these people? Why would you just want more politicians? We've seen what happened with them. It's not, I don't know. I think back to high school, and not to diminish anyone who's into this. I know good people who are into this stuff too. Think about the people like running for student council and stuff like that. Those are the people who now rule over us. So, I guess some are good, but it's seeming like a failed system. And Johnny Ryan, here's the Make America Great Again shirt. I just thought that was pretty cool. And then, of course, on a sad note, as a lot of you have heard, Eddie Van Halen passed the other day. I wanted to post about it, but it was right as they dropped those documents with the handwritten notes from Brennan to the FBI telling how Hillary was saying we have to vilify Trump with this Russia hoax. So I didn't want to bury that post. I not to be, paranoid or whatever, but it's a little suspicious that right after that a huge bombshell drops that this gets announced. But it's sad for me. Eddie Van Halen to me was probably one of my top 3 inspirations on guitar, influences on guitar. I always tell everyone the 3 that got me to want to play in the first place was Johnny Winter, Jimi Hendrix, and Alvin Lee from 10 Years After. And that's all stemming back to, my parents' old Woodstock albums and stuff. But as far as like actual straight up influence on me, I'd say probably Eddie Van Halen and Slash are the 2 most of all time. So I didn't even know he was battling cancer for 10 years, they said. I mean, maybe I've heard that in the past, and then he beat it, but man, I don't know. It kind of just hit me in a certain way the other day, and it's pretty sad. But a lot of people, I've always gotten pushback on this over the years, where to me, I've always made the argument that Eddie Van Halen was the greatest. He's the greatest guitarist. I mean, probably Slash is probably my favorite guitarist. I know other people, they're so awesome, But to me, as a lifelong guitarist, he is the only person I've ever tried to play where it has things that I couldn't do. There's something in the beginning of Mean Streets, if anyone knows Mean Street, where it starts. That's all pitch harmonics. Like a pitch harmonic is if you hold the second fret and hit the 14th. It's all 12 frets. If you hit the first fret, you have to hit the 13th. He's playing it like a piano with his right hand going. That's the most insane thing I've ever seen. And just some of the stuff, the guy, to me, he's the most talented guitarist to ever live. So Rest in peace. I don't know where his politics were. I don't want to know. You know, I'm getting a little sick of getting mad at everyone I grew up loving. But I don't know. Rest in peace, Eddie. I had to throw that in there. But now, here is back to the back to the things that matter in this world. Here's Joe Biden. You know, he won't answer the question if he will pack the Supreme Court. Obviously, he's going to pack the Supreme Court. I mean, Trump's trying to pack. Why wouldn't you? But just say it, man. Be a man. I don't know what he thinks he's gaining by dodging this question, but here's him being a little
to
stiff,
interview
a
Biden
little curt with
one-on-one
this guy.
and ask him if he plans to pack the Supreme Court with more justices if he wins. Here was that exchange.
Sir, I've got to ask you about packing the courts. And I know that you said yesterday you aren't going to answer the question until after the election. But this is the number one thing that I've been asked about from viewers in the past couple of days.
Well, you've been asked by the viewers who are probably Republicans who don't want me continuing to talk about what they're doing to the court right now.
Well, sir, don't the voters deserve to know?
No, they don't. I'm not going to play his game. He'd love me to talk about, and I've already said something on court pack. He'd love that to be the discussion instead of what he's doing now. He's about to make a pick in the middle of an election. First time it's ever been done. First time.
That is not true. What do you mean first time it's ever been done? First of all, they're saying, oh, we should let the people decide. People decided in 2016. They elected Donald Trump. We elected Donald Trump. And now Supreme Court Justice is up. It is his duty to fill that role as soon as possible. And I know they were supposed to start it tomorrow on the 12th. And I'm pretty sure they're not going to start it now, from what I understand. And because of, you know, this scare, this COVID scare that only hit Trump and only hit all these other people on the right, and then didn't hit anyone on the left. And like, oh, he didn't wear his mask. Give me a break. But then when you say, oh, the mask isn't stopping coronavirus, because it says right in the box, and people were saying it's smaller than the weaving, then they say, oh, well, it's not to protect you, it's to protect other people. Well, which one is it? Is it just to protect other people, or is it the reason that they all got COVID? I mean, give me a break, man. They double talk everything. But I think I saw someone in the chat say they could hear Buster snoring. You know, this is kind of cool having like a live interaction. I'm really not accustomed to this, as you guys know. Red Pill says just realized the name change. Yeah, right on, dude, man. Learn camo is what I'm thinking. Especially they asked my IG and my Facebook group. And the Facebook is so compromised anyway. But I should have asked that myself a freaking little while ago. Because every time I would sign on Facebook, which wasn't too much, it would be like 30 things. These are all fake news. We're limiting your post account, you know, and then no one could see anything. And then, so it was pretty much a dead page. That's how they got ahead of it there. But my Instagram was all original me. I made a point. Now, like infographics and stuff like that, you know, that I would compile from where I could find it and then add to what I could. Those were what they were. But as far as just having fun memeing the left, oh man, dude, I must have lost so freaking many. And like I said, I made it a point. Those are anything that was on there. If any of you did enjoy my Instagram, which I enjoyed, that for a long time, that was all original. And man, Instagram was like my escape. Now I'm on my regular Instagram being like, all right, you know, but Instagram was always funny. That's why I was always on Instagram for so much longer before Twitter, because it's like you'd see so much info and you get to share info and it was awesome. But then it was also like really funny ass shit. So you'd have a good time. It was like this positive thing. And like on once in a blue moon, I'd go on Twitter and like, oh my God, you know, I'd be like the Kool-Aid guy in Family Guy where he's like, oh yeah. Oh no, and like backs out, you know, like psyched up to hang out. And no, man, Twitter is an abomination of this planet, but you know what? It's where the fight is, so I've been trying to go on there more and more. I'm saying enlarge the screen. I don't know if I could do that on the fly. Oh, well, for Biden, yeah, well, that's over. But for the other things, that should be good. This is the next thing I wanted to look at. 1 dead and 2 in custody after a shooting at a rally in Denver. There was original reports that this guy was Antifa. It's coming in now. that Denver Police Department, who knows if this will be the final verdict, they're saying he has no affiliation with Antifa and that he was a private security guard. But you know, why are you at this rally with a gun? You're not a cop, first of all. So was he there to march with Antifa and Black Lives Matter? Who knows? But it's just a sad situation. And all this stuff, this is what they want. So the people who are funding these riots and funding this garbage isn't happening out of nowhere. They're dying for something like this to happen and spark it and spark things going off. And I think luckily it hasn't yet. And it's just so ridiculous. And it's always when a patriot meeting is started that then Antifa will show up. It's never the other way around. It's never them like crashing in Antifa, or maybe it is a little now. Now things are really starting to heat up. But for the most part, all these big fights is Antifa going to them. Dude, let them have their little rally. What's your problem? It's something that eventually needs to be looked at. But Antifa is just an idea according to Joe Biden, so whatever. But imagine believing that, like, whatever, he's saying it, right? They're going for it. They're saying some of these things, and this is started tactics. Okay, game on. But it's the people who run with it and repeat it. And you'll see them in chats like, guys, Antifa's just an idea. You're like, man, it just parrots. I don't know. I don't get it. But that's what really concerns me. Anyway, let's see. Let's take a look at the chat here. Everyone, make sure you hit live chat on top, or else it'll just show you top chat, which I'm sure half of us are freaking hidden by this wonderfully free platform. Hey, Cisco Lady Liberty is here. All right. This is we got quite the party going on. A little midnight live stream. My once every 3 months live stream. But here's another great one. Here's the Whitmer kidnapping. I don't know if anyone watches. I don't have it keyed up, but the person who was signing next to her was off the charts. It was pretty great. People were putting music to it and stuff. I really wish I had one lined up here. But she came out and makes the whole thing, white supremacy. Anything that any white person does on this planet is white supremacy. Is pretty insane at this point. But the FBI under Trump is the one who caught it and saved her. And no thank you, no nothing. Talking about they were trying to implicate Trump in it. And now it comes out that this guy was a freaking, ripping on Trump and stuff.
Trump is not your friend, dude.
Yeah.
And it amazes me that people actually, believe that. When he's shown over and over and over again that he's a tyrant. Every single person that works for government is your enemy, dude.
Trump's a freaking construction dude who the word on the street for all the years I was doing construction in Manhattan is that he was one of the only real ones there was, and the man. So shut up with your goofy ass fucking earrings. But so this guy, and then get it here. If you look, he's got an anarchy flag in the background. Oh yeah, real Trump supporter we got here. And someone was trying to say that this flag was satanic. This Periphery, that's a metal band. They all do the freaking every other one. I mean, and even I played in the local scene for many years, and every other local band was like, oh, Satan, it's corny. Everyone rolls their eyes at it. These aren't the Satanists you're looking for. But, that's just cringy. This is the equivalent of finding a Slayer or an Iron Maiden poster on this guy's wall. But the anarchy flag, which is used a lot by Antifa, by the way, was on his wall. And this guy doesn't like Trump. And, whoa, so much for your whole... It's like they only care if they could blame Trump. She's probably mad right now. Meanwhile, not relieved that they stopped this plot. Which, dude, that's not the way. The way is to vote these people out and to raise awareness and to do it the right way. And the information, you win with information, and that's how it's done. But they're psychos. Antifa are freaking psychos. So they were gonna kidnap her and do anything, and she don't care. So that's falling apart on her. And then you got this. which I'm sure a lot of people have seen by now, but I'll play it again.
Yeah, should have known this was gonna happen.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, god damn it. You made the wrong decision. You made the wrong, and now you want to run. I'm gonna get your plates. You want to run from the...
I don't even want to watch any more of that. This guy, that guy was texting with a 14-year-old boy to freaking, you know, and sick shit. I'm not gonna put it on the screen, but this, you know, like disgusting crap, like stuff you would say to another adult, it's just the fact that these people even exist. You know, here's a state representative, or former state representative, Democrat, of course, Massachusetts. I mean, not that it doesn't happen on both sides, but it, for some reason, seems to be mostly Democrats. And, you know, here he is hanging out with his buddy Joe, who's, you know, getting a little close to a freaking kid, like he always does. So, just, I don't know, it's just not surprising anymore. And this is another thing I saw today from Pompeo, just because I don't even want to think about that other stuff anymore. It's disgusting. But that's who you're voting for if you're voting for Joe Biden and the left in general. So good for you.
We're never certain that we got them all. When the Secretary of State puts private information that is classified on her personal server that is not connected to the State Department's information network, one never knows for sure if they've got them all. Those that are inside the State Department, the American people should know. We will get them out. Many of them on our website today. You can go to state.gov and see many.
All right, so many of them on today. So here's state.gov. I was looking through them quick. I was out for most of the day today, but I was just looking through them in the last couple hours or whatever, and they look like the WikiLeaks. You know, I recognize a lot of the Cheryl Mills ones. There's a lot of WikiLeaks there for talking about Syria and stuff. And then here's the infamous from Anceline Lewis. I'll be sacrificing a chicken in the backyard to Moloch. You know, that's always a great one. And so it seems so far that they just released some of the WikiLeaks. There might be others. Again, I haven't really gone through them too much, but they released, which I thought was interesting, let's see, 1,779 of them. And 1779, at least in the American Revolution, was about 3.5 years into the Revolutionary War. It started in mid 1775, and it's about 2 years before the end of the Revolutionary War. Maybe that means something. I don't know. It certainly isn't 33,000 or whatever, or 55,000. And again, a lot of these look familiar at first glance. Hopefully I'll go through them a little bit more. I don't know if anyone saw people sharing things today. Again, I was with my brother most of the day, but yeah, so I guess that was most of what I was trying to catch up on the news. I thought I'd pop in and say hi to you guys. I mean, I'm not looking to run right this second, but maybe I hang out, talk to the chat a little bit. But I don't know. What do you guys think? What are you thinking about the emails? Pompeo seems to be stalling a little bit. 1779 is the number of times Joe Biden said, "Come on, man." That's pretty telling right there. That's the amount of times he said it this week. Come on, man. I was just looking at a clip the other day for it's talking about China, and I was gonna put as part of a video, as part of a Scarface video that I'm working on, and he gave the obligatory "come on, man" from like 1.5 years ago. But I don't know. What's up, guys? It's the middle of the night here, so what do you guys want to talk about? Anyone got any questions? I'm actually able to read the chat now. So I'm becoming kind of a live stream pro. I'm sure some of you watch the friggin' Friday night show on Craig Mason's channel from time to time, and it's getting pretty good. I think we're really getting to a groove. I'm getting much more comfortable live streaming. That's why I decided to do this here tonight. And I'm sure some of you can still hear Buster snoring in the background. Trump F-bombed. Dude, that was great, dude. He definitely F-bombed Iran. Trump, he's a real dude. Trump is real. And I don't know if he meant to do that on purpose, but you could hear he was feeling good. He's talking to Rush, and Rush, I'm sure, is someone he's talked to a lot in the past, so he probably felt comfortable. You're on the phone. He probably just got lulled into talk, like he was talking with one of his buddies. And I love that he did almost 2 hours on there. He sounded great, and he's looking great. I just read today that I think Chris Christie just got out because he was in the hospital for almost 7 days with COVID. They all, knock on wood, they seem to be coming out all right. Yeah, Grassley pointed out Kaylee's clock being stuck at 10:10. I thought that was pretty cool. Typically, all clocks, like in any display clock in a store, is always put at 10:10. But it's that's not a display clock. That's in her freaking house. So that's not an accident. That was, she clearly, I think, was communicating with people. Let's see. Don't F with the United States of America. Ain't that the freaking truth? He dropped an F-bomb. Yeah, he told Iran not to fuck with us. but yeah, it was pretty good. I heard about half. I guess maybe about 45 minutes of the show, and it was pretty awesome. Let's see here. All right, here's a question for me. Did you hear that 11 people that had been setting up the stage, etc., for Trump Biden tested positive for COVID-19 debate? I did not, but that would be indicative of something being on the stage, and he got it right after the freaking debate is when he got it. And then there was let me see if I can find that. Ready to go. There was, for Pence, there was an article that said Pence had COVID. That said do not release. I don't know if it'll come up anymore. Oh, well, here's an article about it. I'll go. Let me transition this over. What the frig is that? Deadline. What the frig was that? It's too late for that. Although it did sound pretty sick, I gotta admit. Deadline accidentally publishes a story about Pence being diagnosed with COVID-19, and they published it right after his debate. So was that the key? Was that? I wonder if someone went down and Lysoled Pence's mic or whatever. Let's see. A draft post of a story about Mike Pence testing positive for coronavirus that was never meant to publish was accidentally posted on Deadline. The news organization said in a statement on its website roughly 30 minutes after the story had been posted. The outlet said it was pulled down immediately. I wonder if this is... Oh, that's the statement about it. Okay, I think this might be a picture of it. Oh, what do you know? Doesn't exist. I guess they're taking them down. Here we go. All right. Prep. Do not publish until the news crosses Vice President Mike Pence tests positive for coronavirus 8 days after Donald Trump. And of course, I imagine they were about to push the, oh my God, well, this isn't safe. They both have it, at their 25th Amendment garbage, because they're never going to stop. So this is just for them. I guess I'm not surprised. I don't know if I expected them to stop ever. Why would they? But it's just, they've been getting their ass kicked for 3 straight years. So this is quite the move they're going for now. And it's just, I don't know. I guess it's not surprising. But it seems like anyway, that they put this on the mic. Or something, I guess, in there. Mr. Mark, Johnny Rotten voted for Trump. How awesome is that? Friggin' little anarchy in the USA. That's probably why. Now that it's all, the anarchy has begun. But so all right, here's a question: did anyone? How many of you? That's why I wanted to do this too, is to talk about, that I changed my name and maybe let you guys know that it's me. It's still the same channel. I posted something that I'm really happy the way it came out with. If you guys haven't watched it yet, posted a little doc on Edward Bernays called The Council on Public Relations, which was ironically started right around the same time or a little after the Council on Foreign Relations, and they were both coming from Wilson's camp. Edward Bernays was on a CPI propaganda war council for World War I, and he started right after that. And Edward Mandell House, who started the Council on Foreign Relations, two different spellings by the way, Council on Foreign Relations CIL, and Council on Public Relations SEL. Counsel like advice, like a lawyer. And Edward Mandell House was Wilson's top advisor, and he started Council on Foreign Relations. And kind of going into a lot of a lot of it too comes from this book. It's basically the whole thing just wound up being yellow. I didn't use every excerpt that I highlighted, but I read it with highlighter, and every other every other page is just got stuff where you're just like, oh man, this is the blueprint right here. This is literally maps out everything they do. And a lot of it's under the guise of like advertising, but a lot of it's straight up from like, if you want to control the masses, you will section them off into groups, and then you will infiltrate said groups and all this stuff. And you just reading this, you're like, yeah, this is exactly what they're doing. And again, that book's in 1928, so he wrote that. He was on the World War I Propaganda Council in 1917, so I wrote that about 11 years later. But he references a lot, and he says that a lot of his theories were tested and came from the things he learned on that council, and a lot of it too. And I'll say this in the doc. A lot of it comes from studying his uncle Sigmund Freud's works, but I didn't say this in the doc. He's actually the one who brought over Sigmund Freud's works and translated them into English. Like, Edward Bernays is the reason Americans know Sigmund Freud is. He's the one who translated them all and published them and spread them and all that stuff. He's actually his nephew twice over, because his dad married Freud's sister and Freud married his sister. So it sounds incestual. It's really not if you think about it. But so that he's the reason for Sigmund Freud. There was another thing I didn't mention, is that in the 50s and 60s, Hollywood was obsessed with Sigmund Freud, and actually his daughter got a little bit of fame while she was there, because Hollywood was really into Freud, and she was around and made herself valuable. I think she was friends with Marilyn Monroe. I don't know if she was there the day Marilyn Monroe died, or if she was there around that time. I forget. But either way, that was Freud's daughter. So this is, and all these things about the subconscious and how to manipulate people and group dynamics and how to tap into people's emotions. He got that from his uncle Freud, and he brought it to America and to the powers that be. And this is the blueprint, man. That book is the blueprint. It really, I don't even well, I guess I took most of the poignant things and put it in the doc, but it's always good to read it for yourself. I think you guys would find it really interesting. And I believe Freud was saying one of his things is that people have 4 different emotions: fear, self-preservation, love. I forget the 4th, but I think it's just similar to one of the other ones. It's saying that if you can tap into any one of those things, you can really control people. And say like fear, if you get someone in fear mode, they go into fight or flight mode, and you could kind of use that to manipulate them and certain things like that. Or selling love or sex. That was the other one. Sex, not love. Is that sex? Kind of just puts someone in a freaking in a certain state where they're not thinking straight, and just all these things that our society is completely saturated with now. And if you think about how this slow progression, that propaganda war council was World War I. But if you look, they used a lot of these things. Even Pearl Harbor, things came out after the fact that they knew that they were warned about Pearl Harbor and did nothing about it. In fact, so some people, in fact, they moved out their new battleships or something like that and packed the old ones in like sardines. Something to that effect. That might not be exactly. They did something shady like that, and that all came out in tribunals. So you could argue that that was somewhat propaganda. You know, Vietnam War, the Gulf of Tonkin was a false flag. It never happened. But you have to engineer consent. That was Edward Bernays' big things, the engineering of consent. He actually wrote a second book about that later on, which by all accounts is pretty much a rehashing of this. But it's saying that you need to get consent from the public to do a lot of the things you want to do. And if you could figure out a way to do that, you could do whatever you freaking want. And they have. Someone's asking, do you think Tom Hanks is missing? Oh, I don't know. I haven't really been keeping tabs on Hanks. Is he missing? Didn't he buy a place in Greece or something like that? Why is everyone putting one in the chat? Is that a thing? I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs of live streams, but if the number one is a thing, or are these people like communicating with each other? I'll ban every one of you. No. Let's see. Someone said, say one for Trump. Oh, all right, man. Right on. All right, one away. Let's see. All right, here's a question. I think they keep pushing the whole white supremacist because they plan on making some kind of law against Trump supporters, and they could change us harshly if they win, charge us harshly if they win. I mean, I think if they could, they would. They're certainly trying. There was that bill that was pushed by friggin' New Jersey Congressman Tom Malinowski, who, you know, to condemn a certain group where it's like, dude, everyone I met is all about peace and nonviolent. So they know that. I don't believe that they don't know that it's nonviolent. So that's a little concerning, but it's a legally binding thing they passed, resolution, which is, although Facebook then and Instagram banned everything, they tried to ban everything, they got me right after that. Even though if they would just watch my videos, I've never called for violence once. I called for racial equality, like all the things they love. If they would just, you know, if they really were about the things they claim to be about, they would freaking love my channel. So, or, you know, love my pages and stuff. So I'm sure it's weird. Yeah, everyone who's white is a white supremacist. It's so cringy at this point. But who knows? I think too, if you talk about stuff like that, you give it power. Like there's something like they float ideas, and then if everyone starts panicking, oh my God, they're gonna do this, they're gonna do this, they say to themselves, okay, we can do that because people believe that we will. I think that's a legit thing that they have to see if people believe. That's why a lot of these things I don't give power to them. Like, why don't you talk about this? Why don't you talk about that? Because you know what? I don't want to make it real for them. So I don't think that they can pass a resolution on Trump supporters. First of all, almost none of us are white supremacists. If there are white supremacists, I haven't met any yet. You know, I know obviously the law of averages? I forget exactly, but you know, there's going to be a 0.0% of everything in every group. However, I've never met one, so I don't know. I don't know what that's like. I'm a human supremacist. I'm an American supremacist. And Donald Trump is an American supremacist. And that includes everybody. All Americans, no matter what you look like. And people should be getting pretty psyched. I would imagine if they would have let Trump, Minga, if they would have just let this guy do his thing for 3.5 years, we'd be Wakanda by now. You know what I mean? It's just like insane. Like they have hit him so much. All he wanted to do, this guy has had his finger on the pulse for years. He's been the same guy always for years. If you go back through all his old things, I have montages here and there. He's talking about the same things over and over, and he's right. And he finally got a chance to do it. And they really, I'm sure he would have done a lot. He tried to do so much more than what he even said, because he pretty much made every single campaign promise except for lock her up, which, you know, good luck with that. People are like, how come you didn't lock up Hillary? Who's going to lock up Hillary? They are. They own everything. This is their system. Donald Trump is in the belly of the beast right now. I think they're going to have to go a different way, a way that maybe people might not like. Who knows? Maybe military, maybe something like that, which is definitely an after the election move. But don't say nothing to me, man. I've been making videos since 2018 saying that this stuff that everyone's waiting for, that's bottom of the ninth, second term stuff. That's what I've thought since the beginning. One of their main things in the beginning was he's a dictator. And he's certainly not. But before exposing these people as efficiently as they have exposed them now, if you would have just arrested them before this slow roll of just like showing how horrendous they are over and over again, it would have looked dictatorish. I think it would have anyway, and that would have given them the power to really crush him with it. But I love all the stuff he has done. I mean, even just as like, listen, they told us they were going to try and drain the swamp. They told us they were taking it down. I just wanted him to be a good president, and holy crap, he's been the best freaking president. And even just stuff, I really like all the regulation cuts he did for businesses and small businesses, and it's given companies incentive to come back. And that's how you solve the poor problem. And they know that it's not a thing. But the real reason, the real way you solve the poor is by giving them ways to help themselves and treating them like inferior little, like, oh, they need our help. The poor need our help. No, a handout doesn't help anyone. You just, give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. Teach a man a fish, he'll eat forever. He'll feed himself forever. And no one remembers how to fish anymore because they set up this whole system where they took all the manufacturing jobs and all the factories and a lot of the construction jobs they flooded with immigrants, and now there's no way for the poor in a blue collar sense anyway, which is a lot of ways it's the way I helped myself. I grew up dirt poor. Construction is the one thing that finally helped me pull myself and give myself any quality of life. They pulled that away from everyone and then put them on this fish a day regiment, and they're like, oh, they need our help, we have to constantly do this. No, they give them the chance to help themselves. We're not babies. And Donald Trump, the way they did it is by overtaxing. Everyone's like, you gotta tax these businesses and stuff. And maybe like there's really big ones like Amazon and stuff. I mean, some of these businesses, they could do for a little extra tax. Who knows? I don't know what the answer is with that. But, or maybe someone could say pay their employees a little more or something. But in general, you want these businesses to come here. If you're just loading them down where they're paying these insane taxes, which taxes just fund trillionaires anyway. People think, I don't know what people think this tax money's going to. Like, what do they think, they're going to get a check or something? They're like, oh, we got to support their fake programs for all their fake fear campaigns. No way, dude. Freaking Grace Commission said it right off the bat. This money goes to high-end bankers anyway. So those companies just leave, and then there's nowhere. Then all there is office jobs, and that's fine. But we have a system now where in order to get an office job, you have to go spend $30,000 on 4 years of college, and then you're not starting the workplace at 18. You're starting at 22. And back in the day, high school wasn't a thing. What they're doing with college now is exactly what they did to high school. It used to be, you went up to like 8th grade for years in the 1800s and into the early 1900s. My dates could be a little off, but roughly that area. And some people went to a secondary high school, and eventually there was all these things then more and more people went, and there was these things to make it permanent, and it was like, oh, well, people shouldn't have to pay for it. The state should pay for it. And then they worked like how right now they're trying to get people to get our taxes to pay for college. That's what it was then. And then finally they did it, and now our taxes pay for high school as well. And so then you had kids who used to start the workforce. Not that I think kids should be working at freaking 13, but there are kids who used to start working at 13, 14, 15. Now all of a sudden, a teenager became a thing. That's a relatively new term as well within the last 100, 150 years. And then now those kids all start working. Well, I guess you can still work part-time at 16. That's when I started working and paying rent for that matter. But then for the most part, they would like really enter the workforce at 18. Now we have it where you're really entering the workforce at 22. So it's like they're just creating perpetual kids who are you're just never entering the real world. And again, you have to waste all that money on college. Not that it's a waste, knowledge is always good, but they've turned these colleges into freaking just total liberal assault people with these liberal communist ideologies. But anyway, so now you have to do all that, and then you start in debt. Like I get, like people are like, oh, we're in debt. Yeah, but that's the system. The answer to that isn't to hijack our taxes to pay for it. It's like you want to look at the people who are robbing you and change the system. Not find someone to reimburse you for the person who robbed you. Not like go to your friends and being like, I just got robbed from $8,000. You guys have to pay me now. Well, we didn't rob you. I don't care. You have to pay me. No, dude, let's go find that guy who robbed you. Anyway, see, I'm going off on a tangent now. This is why I don't live stream that much. Or maybe this is good. I don't know. But just, school, it's a weird thing. Sometimes I feel like, too, why isn't high school like college? Why can't you pick all the, like, how much do you really retain from school? You learn to read, you learn to write, and then, you learn math. Some people learn math. I've noticed, I don't know, man. I was always good at math. I don't find it that hard. Some people act like you're calculating rocket science sometimes, but I think you guys would be a lot better at math if you weren't so scared of it. Trust me, it's an exact science. Math is math. There's one answer. 7 times 8 is 56. Period. But I think they convinced, and they do all this confusing stuff. And even before, like I didn't have what's it called? What's that weird one? Common Core now. I didn't have Common Core when I was growing up. But still, there was the whole thing. They're like, oh, math is so hard. Math is so confusing. If you just take the time and write it out, it's a very exact science. But now they really confuse people with the Common Core. I get it. It's a weird, because in a way, it's kind of a mental trick that I've always done. People that, at least to one part of it. Like, there's a whole thing. So I imagine this isn't the whole of Common Core. But something like, say, I don't know. Say like 9 times, well, everyone knows 9, but like say like 8 times 5, right? So they would say that would be 50 minus 10, and that is kind of how I do it in my head. But you have to learn math first, and that should be like a separate course of just tricks for one semester or one marking period. Not make that the whole math curriculum. It's just weird to me. I don't know. But the way you do that is, instead of doing like 5 times 8, you do 5 times 10 is 50. And so for each one of those 5s, there's 2 on the table, which is 10, and 50 minus 10 is 40. But, that's a quick little trick that I thought I invented until I started reading about some of the Common Core. That's one thing I read that did make sense, but that's like an after trick. You have to learn real math first, or else that makes no freaking sense, But, I think, I don't know, Common Core might be way different, but I thought I saw that one time. Anyway, it sounds ridiculous, but dude, you should teach math. No, thank you. Maybe I'll make a video one day. It's weird. I saw someone making fun of calculators the other day, and how like, in America they make you use a calculator, which I get. You shouldn't to a degree. For regular math, you should learn without a calculator. And you should have to write it out and get it, and then that'll help you with your head. However, in the real world, as a surveyor, calculator is your best friend, and you need it whether you want to or not, especially if you're doing trigonometry. And I had never learned trig in school. I really did good. School, I never paid attention. It's a long story. But I had a bad experience in middle school where I was just like, then I just shut off and was like, F school. And I just kind of like floated by. But I was so naturally good at math, I would always cry. I would get like 70, 70, 70 because my high school kid, they passed you no matter what you did. and then like 98 in math, I did really good in chemistry one year because chemistry is kind of like algebra in a way. So one year, so my junior year, man, I think I got like a 96 on the year for algebra 2, and when I was making my senior year, I know you only needed 3 maths to pass. So I was like, oh, I want to take metal shop and I want to take all these extra things. The guy's like, you're not taking a math? I'm like, hell no, man. Not if I don't have to. And whatchamacallit? He was like, dude, you're like, this is like your thing. So finally, he talks me into taking a math. He puts me in pre-calculus. So I get in pre-calculus, and the first freaking thing they're going over is trigonometry. He skipped me over trig. So now they're like sine and cosine. I'm like, what the fuck is this? But it was like review style. She wasn't really teaching it. But, oh man, my mouth always gets so dry when I'm live streaming. But, so I was like, all right. And I did a little math equation. I realized that even if I failed that course, I'd have enough credits to pass. So I basically put my head down and slept every day in that class. Alright, now fast forward to 2002, as a surveyor, one of the things is really, really useful is trigonometry. And this dude, Dave, is my partner at the time, he was like, do you know trig? I'm like, nah. And he goes, I'll show it to you right now. He showed me on a protection rib. I don't know if anyone does high-rise construction, but there's usually 2 3x4s. That's the big protection around the side between you and 50 stories. So we go over to protection rib, and in 1 second he told me cosine. Just think of Bill Cosby, which now seems weird. This is back in 2002, and so it was just like, all right, base over hypotenuse. It was like sine, just think cosine, opposite over hypotenuse, and he was like tangent, just think OBGYN, and opposite over base. And I literally wrote it on a piece of paper. I scotch taped it to the back of my calculator because, like I could do all regular math in my head. But obviously, you need a calculator to do sine, cosine, tangent, or secant and stuff. But and that's it. Within like a freaking week, I had even now I remember them forever. But I still kept it scotch taped to the back of my calculator. But that's how fast that guy taught me that. In the school, they were just going off on some weird crap. But you could do anything with right triangles. So it's always good to learn how to do that. And I think it is always good to have a calculator. I like the calculator. It's always good to check your work too. It's why a lot of times when I was doing numbers, like a lot of times I would have to create the blueprints, and you have to coordinate it to your own grid that you have come up with. And you would do the calculator, but then you always kind of do it backwards, longhand, as a double check, to do both. So that's always a good way. Although a lot of times I wouldn't use the calculator, which is bad. You're supposed to check it with the calculator. But it's actually So actually I would do it the opposite. Secant, tangent, cosine 3.14159. That's right. Pi is 3.14159256535. And a way you can remember that is if you know the 1415. You can add the 5 and 4 is 9. The 2 1s is 2. And then if you add the 5 and 1 is 6. The 4 and 1 is 5. And then it's just 3, 5. But, alright, enough math. But, let's see, I think there was another question up here. If I knew how to do the call-ins, I would do that, but I don't know. I'm not that fancy yet. Now here's the obligatory Zionist. Oh my God, everything's the Jews! Man, am I getting sick of those fucking comments. Look up Bill Cooper, what he has to say about that, because that's how I feel the same way. It's the everything. And I don't care. Why does it matter what friggin', why is it, this is what the left is doing to white people right now. Everything's white people. Any one person does something. It's white supremacy. Everyone who's white is white supremacist. It's like, didn't we just fall for this with the Muslims after 9/11? How embarrassing when I look back at that. But stop looking at people's race or or friggin' religion. Just look at the people themselves. Honestly, listen, if I'm looking into something and 50 of the 50 people are all Jewish, who cares? You just give their names, you know? That doesn't mean all Jews or whatever. But, you know, but if it happens to be that way, they should all be exposed too. It doesn't also mean you have to protect people, but I think they want people to say stuff like that, so then they can clamp down on you. Anyway, someone says talk about the Schumann resonance. Yeah, I posted yesterday that I feel like I'm the only anon on planet Earth that doesn't know what the Schumann resonance is, but friggin' like everywhere I am, everyone's like, yeah, blah, 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 the Schumann resonance was high today. And I'm like, oh, yeah, cool. And in my head, I'm like, what is that? Like, you know, like I know people talk about it. But, man, it was cool because I got a lot of really informative comments. And apparently, the Earth, it's kind of like its natural vibration of frequencies that go around the Earth. And there was someone, I think it was saying in this one article someone posted that it actually aligns with our alpha and theta brainwaves. It's on the same frequency as those. Excuse me. Which got me thinking that if it is really resonating high, is that a way, to link mass consciences of the world? Because I think we're way more linked than we realize. I just think we've forgotten how to harness these powers and stuff like that. But, wait, I was looking for a real question. Hey, Berserker Bear's here. What's up, Hammer? I hate the delay. I was reading somewhere how to change the delay. I'm gonna have to look into that a little closer. It would be cool to do this. I should do this a little more frequently. But because then you could be allowed. There is a way, from what I was reading, there is a way to be a little better synced up with the chat. Because I know, if you're ever in a live stream, first of all, I always notice the chat's like its own conversation, and I'm commenting on the video, and I'm like, oh wait, and then I realize I'm like, everyone's talking about something different. But then it's like, they don't see your comment until they're on to 70 things past what you just said. So it's like this weird. It's this weird thing. But, I don't know. If you guys got any other comments, feel free to post them or repost them. I certainly don't have an inside track on anything, but I could at least give you my opinion on some stuff. Is Pence going to die of COVID and JFK Jr. slides into the VP spot? That would be great. I mean, if some of you watched my JFK Jr. video, I feel like, I don't know, doing that dig, as you can see in the video, I feel like it makes more of a case is made that he might have been taken out by the Clintons in a nefarious way. But man, there are some things that make me think that he at least knew it was coming, which then makes it possible that he did go into hiding. I hope that is the case. I would give it a solid 20% in my own opinion after doing that dig on him. And, I just feel like if that happens and he decides to come out one day, that'll be awesome. But as far as guessing, I don't know. I don't know. For a little while, I was starting to think with Vincent Fusca, man, those face things, they really do line up. He has the same cleft in his chin. There's different things. I found a picture of his hand once, and he had the same prominent vein, although a lot of people do seem to have that. But nevertheless, I don't know. I think he is a different height. That's saying if people say there's a different Vincent Fusca. I don't know. I think it's fun. I think it's fun to speculate that JFK Jr. might be alive. But that being said, when a certain insider was asked, he said no. I know some people say that he also answered yes and that they only put that in. But I don't think it's important to guess. Again, like I said, I could give it maybe 20, maybe 25%. But if it happens, it happens. That'll be cool. If it doesn't happen, sadly, that means what I do suspect mostly is that he was taken out by the Clintons, which is really sad. And he seemed like a really good dude. and he seemed like he was really good friends with Trump, and they both seem like good guys, so I can imagine they got along really well, and I'm sure he definitely mourns the loss of his friend. But man, obviously, part of me is hoping that he comes out of the woodwork one of these days. That would be freaking amazing, dude. That would be so amazing. The Zapruder film came out 6 years after the death, and in my opinion, humble as deepfake. Yeah, it could be. Wow, I didn't know it was 6 years after that came out. I think we're talking about JFK Jr., but imagine if actual JFK was alive now. That would be freaking wild. I unfortunately, I think he did die. Although there is some shady stuff with that too, like they lost his brain. How does that happen? But that could be them covering their tracks and stuff too. But JFK Jr. touched his nose right in the eye in the Instagram. I saw that. But I think in Instagram you can go back on a live stream and post a comment. Like that might not have been live. You know what I mean? Like they might have seen him touch his nose and went back and been like, touch your nose if JFK Jr. is alive, and he did it. But I don't know. I don't know, that did seem, don't quote me on that. You might not be able to do that on Instagram, but I thought you could. I think you could. All right, they're saying no, that was real. Dude, that would be sick, dude. I mean, I hope he was alive so bad. I used to geek out really hard on that, and then certain someone said he was dead, and kind of was crushing in my opinion. But yeah, I think there's still a chance. Even though he said that, I do still think there is a slight chance, and I like it. But I don't think it's set in stone. It's a theory. It's a fun theory. But when will the arrest really kick off? I mean, to me, the arrests have been going on for 3 years. There's thousands of there's been thousands of slime balls being arrested. I mean, you have different, there's all these Hollywood people who have stepped down in disgrace, like Kevin Spacey and stuff, or even Hollywood slime balls like Al Franken, who was in Congress, stepped down in disgrace. You have different things. Nexium was outed. Keith Raniere, his arraignment, his sentencing is on the 27th, and they're going to throw the book at him. And then even his financier, Claire Bronfman, freaking, she has to do a minimum of over 5 years. They were only asking for 5 years. The judge upped it, and that's federal prison, so she's going to have to do a minimum of that. And that's also for Nexium. Harvey Weinstein is a freaking Hollywood legend. He's doing 23 years, and there's so many more. There's so many videos where I've just gone down a list, and these are the real people. Maybe those are some big names, but even the little guys who run the networks, those are the real people. Dude, if you take the foundation out of the building, it's not even going to matter if you arrest those people. I think they will, and I really hope so, and I think that is second term stuff for sure. But I'm pretty psyched. First of all, also too, is they they've showed us everything. They're the ones who, I don't think they would expose these people unless they eventually want us to, get the judiciary system to put pressure on them to do stuff, which I feel like we are. But they're the ones who showed, while they're doing all that stuff and dismantling their whole system, they've also exposed a lot of these people in a major way, which is a nice little twofold. And I know it's like, we're very like an instant now society. And it's like, well, now we know they're bad. Get them. But, it's clearly not that easy. And you see, they've been wielding the Department of Justice as a weapon. Look what they did with the Roger Stone or all these other people. And look what they're doing to General Flynn right now. So, easier said than done. But he's gotten hundreds of judges in. I think close to 300 judges. 2 Supreme Court justices, and now almost another one. But, man, if he can get in and continue to get more judges in. Oh, and then he just put Tom Fitton on a judiciary committee that would give him the power to do away with corrupt judges. Which, holy crap, if he can, moving forward, that is so freaking huge. Brad, take the screen down. What screen do I got on? Oh, what, you don't want to look at Mike Pence's face anymore? What that dude, putting Tom Fitton, giving Tom Fitton power over corrupt judges is like the most triumphant thing ever, you know. And it's going to be a little bit, I imagine, since he gets in there and gets to Washington and gets rolling with all that. But then, if we can get freaking Trump reelected, then he'll have 4 years to rock and roll. Oh my God, dude. I mean, that's Judicial Watch. They're so good. They get so many FOIAs and so many things released, and they put the pressure on so many things that probably would be swept right under the rug if they didn't sound alarm about. And so that's major moving forward, and a really good sign for things to come. I like what they did with Larry Elder too. They started a commission. What is it? It's like a commission to look for, just the plight of the black community and for young men for young African American males, young black kids and stuff, and how they can go forward and what they need to do to really further themselves and to actually get out of the system. Not all this BS that they've been putting in all this stuff. And Larry Elder is brilliant, and he has a really realistic look on the situation and what's going on in these communities. And they were working on starting this commission. I believe they introduced it in spring of 2019, and it was just approved over the summer. And he's gonna put Larry Elder onto it, which is this is a great guy who really gets the situation, and he'll do good things. He'll do really good things for the black community. And this is a guy who, man, he's been waiting his whole life. Well, he's already done amazing things just by putting his brilliant takes out into the world and just putting them, into the public consciousness. But now you can do actual maybe have a hand in legislature things, or just even step that up a bit. I'm really happy for him, and I hope things go well. And man, as someone who grew up really poor, it's nice seeing the poor neighborhoods helped out a lot. And Trump focuses a lot on the poor black neighborhoods, but really a lot of his things actually help poor people across the board if you really look into them. And I think that's pretty cool. And I have a lifetime of growing up of people being like, we're going to help the poor. And I'm like, all right, I'm poor. And I'm like, you're white. Get out of here. I'm like, what? You got white privilege. Like, you're my potential white privilege. And you keep telling me to go fuck myself. I don't think you realize, your little white privilege theory. That's you, man. You rich white liberal that runs everything. But, it's cool, man. There's a lot of, they can do a lot more. I think it's hard to believe because Trump has done more than freaking the last 3 presidents combined in only like 3.5 years. But honestly, I think he could have done even freaking more if they would have left him alone. And maybe if he could get back in now, they could take the gloves off a little bit, because you really have to worry about re-election. You just have to. Even like, there's just things, not everyone's like us. Not everyone's all keyed into how the system actually works. There's a lot of people who just think like, oh, he's a good Republican president now, on this side. And they don't get a lot of the stuff that we get. And you can't risk alienating those people. And so, so once he needs to get back in is the case. And I think it's going to be freaking awesome. Saying James Dwyer, 8 more years. Right on, man. He should reclaim his freaking first term. Let's see what we got here. Ben Carson is doing a great job in HUD. He really is. And That's so. How do people live stream for so long? When your throat is dry, plenty high. Actually, I'm straight edge lately, but I'm on 3 weeks now of not blazing, and it feels good, and I'm going with it. And yeah, I haven't drank maybe 1 drink a year for the last 7 years, if that. You know, maybe 2 drinks 1 year, nothing for 2 years. I quit smoking cigarettes and drinking in 2013, and now I'm on day 21 of not blazing. I have no problem with it, and actually I really believe when people say it opens your third eye and stuff like that. However, I need to concentrate, and I need to get my head a little defogged, if you will. Not that I did too much anyway, but it's nice. It's nice to just go nice clean. My next move is really food. That's my real drug of choice, obviously, and I've been doing a little training too for the last 3 weeks. Haven't really seen any results yet, but you know, I can feel it, so that's something for sure. But yeah, Berserker Bear, I'm a fan too, man. But for right now, for a little bit, I need to let the sweet leaf go. See it build a trip out of bud. Damn. I want what you got. But yeah. I forget why did I just say that? I swear I had a point. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's 1:30 already. I think I started this at like 12:30. So, yeah, sugar is poison. Sugar absolutely is poison. Sugar's worse in some cases. You know, the crappy food they have out there is actually worse than some drugs. Like, there's a great South Park episode where Rob Reiner's like, we gotta ban smoking, while he's eating freaking cheeseburgers and stuff. You're like, you know, and so that is my ultimate vice, and that has to oh, dry mouth, right? That's right. That's what has to be the next step. I've been trying a little, but it's hard, man. It's hard when you're single. You know, maybe like you got someone to cook for, you know, in the past. It's like fun, you know, and I love cooking, as you guys know. But, yeah, just get laid by yourself. It's like, whatever, man. But I need to get over that. Let's show the pug. Buster. Oh, Buster's sleeping. He looks like he's doing like, you ever see when dogs sleep, they look like they're running? Meat, veggies, and grain. Yep, I got some steaks defrosting right now in my fridge. Me and my bro are gonna house them tomorrow. And then first we're gonna go play a little disc golf. That's one thing I noticed with the training. I've been doing a lot of kettlebell training, and I was crushing my drives today and playing disc golf. So it's definitely making a difference. Yeah, can you guys hear that? Let me move the mic. It's typical that I move the mic and then he don't snore for half a second. We freaking snored away. Classic Buster. What do you think of Hillary and Obama being taken out? I don't know about that. I just want to see people go to jail. Listen, whatever they decide, if they do a tribunal and they decide something, they decide it. But I've certainly never called for that on this channel. Personally, I just want to see some justice. I want to see them in handcuffs. I think I really do believe Barack Obama was a plant to weaken the United States of America, and Trump has said it a lot, that one of the main things is they were depleted from ammo. And I had said on the Friggin' Friday Night Show that he had banned green point ammo or whatever in 2015. That's actually not true. He tried to ban it, and it wasn't able to. But is my mic working? It doesn't look like it's working on OBS. But But he didn't ban that, but he did ban right before he got out of office. I think even after Trump was actually elected, he banned lead ammo on federal ground, if I'm not mistaken. So he did that, and according to Trump and according to the generals, when he got in, our military was depleted from ammo. That's some shady stuff, and I do not think for 1 second that was an accident. So were they weakening us? Definitely, there was something in the cards. I think when Hillary got in, I think they were going to try and get us to go to war with Russia, and that's probably why they're mad, and why they try to say we're Russia. It's so freaking cringy at this point, but go to war. Now it seems like they're trying to provoke a civil war. I think it was our turn. If you look at the early 1900s, right? It was war. War devastated pretty much all of Europe. And they all had to rebuild for many years, and I really kicked them back a notch. Then, after that, they went to a lot of Asia. War. And even like overlapping a lot, Japan and stuff, and China. Japan was like systematically genociding Chinese villages in the beginning of World War II. It's pretty nasty if you look into it. But then, Vietnam and Korea and all this stuff. So it was war in Asia. Then they started in the 90s and then then after that day in September, there's been war in the Middle East. So maybe it was our turn. Now maybe the next thing was war in North America, and they didn't get a chance to do it. But it seems like, that's something out of 1984. Where it said war was just a way to constantly knock societies back every time they got back, every time they started getting ahead, to knock them down, so no society truly got ahead. And I think the blueprint is like this. Sometimes people ask me, "Oh, what books would you suggest?" It's very simple. It's not a whole lot of them. Well, there are a whole lot. I shouldn't say that, but to me, I think propaganda, like you guys saw again. Watch my last documentary. It's like a commercial. But I think this is the absolute blueprint of all blueprints. And the story of Bernays also that I tell in there. I think that's the blueprint, right? Then you have Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars is a manual of what they wanted to do with these tactics and how to use it as a weapon against us. Then you have Richard Day's 1969 speech to the Pediatric Commission, which tells you exactly what across the board they were looking to do, and it gives up everything. And then you have 1984, which to me was a warning of what they wanted to put forward of the blueprint, and Behold the Pale Horse, which the first chapter is Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars. So that's a 2-4. But that's another warning. So I think 1984 and Behold the Pale Horse are two great warnings. And I think Silent Weapons for Quiet... I'm sorry. 1984 and Behold the Pale Horse, I say, are two warnings. Two of the good warnings. And the blueprints are propaganda. Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars, what they wanted to do with propaganda. Another operations manual would be Saul Alinsky's Rule for Radicals. And them just telling you in their own words what they want to do. Look up the Richard Day's 1969 pediatric speech. And to me, I feel like, man, that tells you the whole freaking story. Another book that a lot of people suggest, but I haven't read yet, is called Pawns in the Game. And that one supposedly also is a great thing, but I can't say for sure because that one I haven't read myself. Behold the Pale Horse is an amazing book. That really is. That he really outdid himself with that. And I think a good follow-up to Behold the Pale Horse is his 2-hour interview he did either 1991 or 1992. I believe 1992. It's labeled online as a CNN interview, but it's not. I don't know why it's called a CNN interview. But if you look up Bill Cooper 2-hour CNN interview, I believe that is a great follow-up to Behold the Pale Horse. And boy, that, even just by itself, I would just watch it by itself. That says a whole lot. Yeah, Bill Cooper to me is my favorite. Anytime I don't feel like I understand something fully, I go to one of Bill Cooper's takes. Like there was something, man, it was like a year ago or something. I was reading like how, they thought George Washington, people would say like he was a Freemason. Then I was reading and Washington said, well, I went to a couple meetings, but I wasn't a full-out Mason. And I was just thinking, like, to me, you'll never get me to dislike George Washington. That dude is Rambo and the Terminator and Van Damme locked into one of America. That dude is the greatest. He is America. He's the father of America, of this country. So that made me take a step back and be like, because I was getting sucked into the Freemasons are just evil, blah, blah, blah. And I do believe there is a spot at the top of people who have, who have been vetted throughout their ranks in Freemasonry, where people, they finally say, all right, this is one. This guy goes ahead. This guy gets the fake 33. This guy goes ahead to 33 through 90, And but that's something I saw someone else, not Bill Cooper, say that. Actually, for the people who are in the know, go up to 90, actually. But, Illuminati infiltrate Freemason. That's kind of what after I took that step back, and I listened to a lot of what Bill Cooper said, and his theory on it was this. He said he had heard this, I think, from a few people. So I don't know if it was so much of a theory, but he didn't know for sure, of course. He was saying that the way he understands it is that you go, like, dude, how many Freemasons are there, right? I'd imagine 80% of Freemasons are just going there to drink with their buddies, like the freaking Knights of Columbus or the Elks Club or something like that, in my personal opinion. Just trying to be real about this. Everyone's like, oh my God, this guy, I heard this guy went to one Mason meeting. Like, come on, give me a break. But the way he felt like he understood it is that once you get to like that 32, 33 or something, they do tests, I guess, for each level. And he would say they would ask them to do something sacrilege from what he understood. Like burn this picture of Jesus or something insane, right? Where, most normal people would be like, absolutely not. And for most people, they say, good, you have passed the final test. You are now a 33 degree Freemason. Good for you. And they go and, they're now, hey, I'm the head of my lodge or whatever. This is what he was there. I don't know this. I don't know Freemasons. I don't know anyone. This is just what Bill Cooper, what I heard him say after I took a step back and was like, all right, I got to look into this a little more realistically. So the way he understood it was the people who say, okay, and burn the fucking picture of Jesus, sorry to even say that out loud, they get the, you really passed, come in with us. And they get in on the secrets, and I'm sure a lot of the higher members get some secrets, of course, but that they get taken into the club. And then I heard another guy, I don't think Bill Cooper said this part, but I heard another guy who said he was a Freemason, who said that it goes up to freaking 90-something degrees if you're really, once you get into that club. And I think there's a lot of those people who, use the power of this club for shady things. Obviously, there's something. Adam Weishaupt, someone was saying like the Illuminati. He joined the Freemasons at first. I think he wanted to try and do what he eventually did with the Illuminati through the Freemasons, and it wasn't really able to. And then he started what was the Perfectibilists, in the 1770s or late 1760s, something like that, which then became on, I think, on May 1st, 1776. The Illuminati. Or maybe he started the Perfectibilists on that day, and then eventually it changed the name to Illuminati. Either way. But he brought a lot of Masonry over, too. So sometimes I wonder, like, with the checkerboard floor and stuff like that, is that the Illuminati doing that and just letting Masons get hung out to dry? I don't know. I wish I understood it better. And sometimes I actually don't want to know. But, so that's what Bill Cooper said on that. But I just think, like, he has a lot of realistic takes on things. And to me, I just want to look into, see, I have a friend up there, 33 degree, I don't know. Well, I don't know. Does he do shady stuff? See, that's what I mean. It's like on one case I want to know, but on the other one it's like, I don't really, I'm good. I don't need to know. What if they are all bad? But I don't think so. I think the majority of them are just going to hang out, again, like a Knights of Columbus or So whatever, Elks Lodge, all those different freaking things. But so Jacob Weinberg is saying Freemasonry is a choose your own adventure. I can see that. So I guess that would lend itself to what Bill Cooper was saying. If you're willing to go that extra step and show that you will do like wild stuff, maybe they know they can trust you then. Talk about reptile aliens. I don't know. I'm on the fence. Like, I have people who I trust who swear that it's true. I kind of think it's, I don't know. I don't think they're. I still, maybe one day I'll change my mind. Listen, I'm not above changing my mind on something. But to me, it's like, come on, shape-shifting lizard aliens. I just feel like that's a red herring to make people like us look crazy. But again, who knows, man? I've had so many. I've had my mind shattered on so many things last few years. Like, everyone's like, when you're awake, like, man, I thought I was awake. You know, at least like I was saying in that Edward Bernays documentary, I've at least known about like Soros and Bernays and stuff like that since 2010. But man, I didn't know some of this other stuff. But I'm still not sold on the reptile. I'm sorry. I've never seen, like, I've seen the eyes. I've seen like people show videos of eyes where it looks like a cat eye. It's pretty wild. I don't know what that is, but I don't know. Until I see someone, I have to see one person freaking shapeshift, and then I'll change my mind. But I haven't seen anything of that. I do remember a year or two ago, there was all these tweets that went out that everyone was on a plane with Jay-Z. And people say that he freaking shapeshifted right in front of them. And there was mad tweets, and then they all got arrested. They all got they got arrested. They all got erased right away. That was the one thing that made me think like, all right. And let's see, Wendy Pepcorn saying aliens are demons. I think both exist, to be honest. I think there are aliens who get possessed just like humans. I think demons and interdimensional spirits are real. I absolutely believe in aliens. I don't know if I believe that all the world leaders are shape-shifting aliens. That's the only thing. And I've been into that stuff since the freaking 90s. And that's been around. Like, a lot of people talk about reptilians like it's something new. I've been hearing about this reptilian. That's something from the freaking 90s that I used to hear in all the UFO groups and stuff. But yeah, the fallen angels, the Nephilim, or the Nephilim were their offspring, right? And those are the giants? I forget exactly. I read like part of the book of Enoch, and I didn't finish it. But I should. It's actually not a long book, and it was pretty interesting. But I can get a scatterbrain something. But yeah, I think there's definitely a spiritual world, and I think demons are real. How many freaking of these... how many of these videos we see these people, the unhinged in the streets going, you know, like lately, especially the last 3 years, and it's like, that's something. That's more than just someone being crazy. Like, I think there are people, I think you can definitely be possessed by dark entities if you don't fill your heart with love and, you know, corny stuff like that. I could be a little corny sometimes. But, saying, why did they ban David Icke? I don't know. Yeah, that's his thing. See, David Icke, to me, it's like, I've seen a lot, you know, I don't know a lot of his stuff, and that dude is a legend in this field. I certainly would never want to. I don't know. It would be really, you know, I think mean for me to disparage someone. But to me, the only thing, the red flag with that is that he always pushes the shape-shifting aliens, and then it's like he's on Vice Channel. Is the most compromised channel of all time. And then here he is talking about like kids being kidnapped and all this stuff that you're like, well, this is exactly all the freaking stuff I've been finding. And you're like, yeah, all right. And then at the end he goes, and they're all shape-shifting lizard aliens. And you're like, man, God. You know, it's like, here he is on Vice reaching the left, reaching the people we want to reach with this information. And I'm sure there's a lot of them going, whether he's right or wrong. He might be right. I could be wrong. You know, but like I said, for everything other than that I've seen this guy talk about is legendary and totally on point with everything I found. But you know, I feel like that last part at the end, it's like you're on Vice, right? And you're reaching left-wingers who never want to hear this stuff. And then they're like, I feel like they're like, oh my God, kids are getting kidnapped, all the Satanism and stuff, and all this stuff that I personally have myself confirmed. And they're like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And they're getting into it. And then he goes, in the shape-shifting lizard aliens. And they go, all right, it's all BS. And then all the real stuff that is provable, it's in their own words half the times, gets married to that as all garbage. And to me, I feel like that could be a tactic. But again, I don't know. Like I said, that guy is that guy's uncovered a lot of stuff, a lot of on point stuff. Mostly, I don't watch him too much, but everything else I've ever seen that guy talk about, I freaking agree with 100%. So who knows? I could be wrong about the reptilians. That is very possible. There's no handbook that tells you everything, in my opinion. But that's just my own personal thing on the reptilians. Who knows? Maybe I'll come around. But the Pope's a socialist. Man, how sad is this stuff about the Vatican? Like growing up, I wasn't like super religious growing up, but I was religious enough. Cologero is the name I used for forever before Brad, especially when I was working with all the doxing stuff. I was a little on the fence, like, I was already using it as a sock account since 2015, Cologero Getz. But that's my confirmation name from the 90s. And I had gone back, I stopped CCD like a year before I made my confirmation. I'd stopped going. And then as a freshman in high school, I was like, I want to go. So I went back and I went to like night CCD classes on my own. And that, I paid for like mowing lawns and stuff. And I got that, and Cologero, my confirmation name, and I've used that online since I got a computer in like the late '90s, early 2000s. But even though like I wasn't like crazy religious, to me like the highest honor was meeting the Pope, or like going to the Vatican. I used to like I used to want to do that, and now this stuff you find out about this stuff and man, that has got to be the saddest thing I've come across with all my freaking, with all my research. It's just the Pope, especially this Pope. I mean, I don't know. If there's things on John Paul II, I don't even want to know that. To me, I'll always, but I imagine it probably is, to be honest, looking into the Vatican and all this stuff. And it's just, but this main Pope is, and I liked him in the beginning. I thought he was a pretty reasonable, like, here's, a guy's not so rigid. And boy, did that turn out to be. It's just so sad, man. And all the things, too, and just on a random note, with all the library under the Vatican, dude, there is stuff, there has to be stuff. Why won't they let anyone look at it? Why isn't it archived? There has to be knowledge. I think they hid a lot of knowledge from us. And, just even people talking about the Schumann resonance before, and I was saying, like, me just reading it, I was thinking, like, what if this is a hyperlink, like almost like a, fiber optics cable, but for your mind, and to link the whole world, and like things like that. What if these are ancient knowledges? If you back in the day, you read all these old books, and they're always like, yeah, then so-and-so went to wizard school and learned how to, burn things with his mind. And you're like, those crazy ancients. And you're like, wait, every freaking story has things like this? Like, I think there might have been stuff with your mind and powers that we don't know about, that was hidden from the world. Maybe as a way to disarm the world. But not enough. My relationship in Christ Jesus and salvation is the highest honor ever. Amen to that. That's the greatest man or son of God to ever live, and to me that's the way to go. Even though I want to go to church. I haven't been to church, I don't think, physically in 20 years. That being said, my faith has never changed. I've always loved the New Testament and the words of Jesus, and it's the, people like, they want to talk crap on the Bible. You know, like especially like atheists, it's like, well, even if you don't believe it's real, which I don't see how you cannot believe it's real, but even if you don't, it's still the how to be a stand-up dude handbook. You know, like, why would you want to take your kids out of church and have them? I mean, it's like a morals academy. You're like, well, I'll just teach my own kids. Well, you say that, but you also then kind of aren't teaching your own kids, and then they're like, no, well, we got to let them go and not discipline them and just let them be their own person. Well, what is it? Are you going to teach them the morals? Or are you going to take them out of church where they don't learn any of this stuff and then let them be little maniacs? And I get it's a different world, and you can't hit your kids. And I don't even know if you should be able to hit your kids anymore. I mean, the way I grew up, we got hit, but it was literally like my dad did not abuse it. If you did good, if you acted good, you didn't get hit for friggin' years. If you're doing bad stuff, you know, you got the crap kicked out of you. It was all on you. And trust me, there was a lot of like, mental notes, don't curse in front of mom anymore, you know, types things. But, so to me, like, I thought it worked, but I don't know. That being said, you know, I don't have kids, you know, but I don't think I don't know. I don't think I can bring myself to hit a kid. I just don't think I have it in me. But, so I don't know. I certainly, again, yeah, I don't know. So maybe it is good that you can't, but man, we were a lot more in line, I'll tell you that much. Just throwing it out there. But who knows? Don't steal batteries for hey, Mother Station. That is, oh man, alright, so I guess I mentioned this already. Yeah, that was another time that I got hit for stealing batteries from Caldor, and I confronted it up on my cousin. Note to self. But when you're a parent, you're a different person. Yeah, I can imagine. I have a huge family, and I have a million younger cousins, and so I have like almost 40 first cousins. So I have on one side of my family what would be considered a huge family if it wasn't for my other side of family, which is really huge. So, you know, I'm definitely, you know, it's like to be around kids and to be an influence on, you know, younger family members, and you know, my niece who I love, who's snoring away downstairs. Oh, I'm not snoring away like Buster, but you know, she's asleep right now, and it's cool, but it would be different. I can imagine it's totally different if we're your own kids. And it's funny, growing up in my head, I was always like, my friends would make fun of me. Like I always felt like I was gonna have, I always wanted to have like a big family, but it's like, man, you just blink and all of a sudden I'm like 40, single, and being like, like this is kind of like shit or get up the pot time. And man, I don't even, you know, I haven't even like been on a date in a year. I feel like I blinked. Does anyone else feel like you blinked and 2019 and almost 2020 now just went by? Oh man. Craig said, you got laid, your wife must look like a troll. I love like the corny ass, like hateful comments. There's one dude, let's see, hide user on this channel. Peace, bitch. Whatchamacallit? There's one dude on the friggin' Friday Night Show, and God bless Craig, he doesn't ban people and stuff, who always leaves nasty comments after every video, and I always read them like, oh, I just want to punch your face in once, you know? But it's just I don't know. I don't get people. I'm not a mean person. I don't like mean people, and that's not out of weakness. I certainly, unfortunately, know how to fight. You know, that's not a good thing when you grow up learning how to fight because of lots of fights. Because you know, being like a nice, polite kid, people want to fight you until you learn how to fight, and then they don't want to fight anymore. It's funny how that worked, but yeah, and then so you know, it's not a weakness, but I choose to use my strength to be nice to people, and the only people I've ever fought were complete assholes, and I haven't been in a fight, knock on wood. I don't think I've been in a fist fight in like 10 years. It's probably the longest in my whole life, and I don't ever want to get another one again. They suck, you know, again, I know how to do it, but I don't want to. It is nerve-wracking. Even when you win, you're still like shaking with adrenaline, and you know, it doesn't matter. See, Australian Ben says, "Good day, Brad. Keep up the great work, mate." Hey, so 1:57. So it's probably like, was it like 4 in the afternoon over there? Do you believe in flat Earth? I personally don't. I don't want to talk about it. To be honest, but I did learn the other day that Australia has half time zones. Hold on, I gotta pull up a map of this. They have like half hours. Someone was saying something. Say like right now it's 1:57, and I was like, "Oh, what time is it over there?" And they're like, "Oh, well, it's 3:27." And I remember being like, 3:27? What? Like, hold on. Let's see, Australia time zone. I never knew they were half time zones before. Okay. So if you look here, first of all, they're even different. Like this is like, oh well, I guess this one does daylight saving times and this doesn't. All right, so I guess it's not that different. Now, first when I first looked at it, I thought it was like 10 and a half and 9 and a half, and I was like, but they were on top of each other. But I don't know, it just blew my mind. There's half time zones. I kind of think it's cool. But yeah, so right now I think New York -5. I want to say. So what? So that would be a difference of 13 hours. So if you're here, that would be, it would be 3 in the afternoon. Here would be 4:30 in the afternoon, and here would be 5. I believe. Correct me in the chat if I'm wrong. Hey, I got to say correct me in the chat if I'm wrong. Yeah, you know I live stream now. No big deal. Guys, I'm a live streamer. I don't know if you've heard of them, but it's what I do. Let's see. Let's see all the Aussies in the chat. By the way, I always grew up thinking like Australia was the toughest, coolest place ever, and I'm sure it is. And I'm sure it especially was at one point. But man, it is sad to see like how locked down they are, Illuminati style. It's like to me, it was always just like Australia was like just a bunch of maniacs like shooting guns and I don't know, fighting kangaroos, and like it was just like a tough, cool place. That was like always my out in my head. Like I was just gonna like one day if I ever had to get out, run away to Australia. But I see these videos. I'm getting arrested over like Facebook posts and stuff over there. That's scary. That's why, yeah, they need a Second Amendment. Absolutely. That's why they want to get rid of ours. You know. 17 here. Yeah, 5 o'clock in Victoria. So I guess Victoria must be on the east side of Australia. Australia is the most dangerous place. The freaking ants can kill you. Dude, literally. That's a fact. I mean, I know you know that if you said that, Rob. What's up? What's up, brother, by the way? They have, like, I think the most deadliest animals. The highest percentage of them are all in Australia. It's literally the most deadliest place on Earth. And, I'm not sure. I believe the most of the middle of Australia isn't inhabited, right? It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Hey, that's the Slash album. I think that was the Slash's Snake Pit album, if I'm not mistaken. What do you think about free energy coming? Tesla's theory on free energy. Man, I believe they have it. Now, I was going through on my Instagram, which is now destroyed. I had posted some stuff like last year at some point. If you go through his papers that are, you can see, I think the FBI released them. He talks about that he did it. He figured out a way to do free energy. And I tend to believe him. He doesn't seem like someone who would lie about something like that. Some people, I've seen people theorize that the monoliths that happen to be in all the major cities are, you know, like free energy beacons and stuff. If anyone's ever looked in Tartaria, people believe that was a culture that at one point had free energy. You know, I don't know how true that is, but I think that's something that could happen if they could pull this off. I think they're going to. I really do think they're going to pull it off. That's why I've been so patient, and I love what they're doing anyway. One way or the other, they have hurt the deep state forever with what they've already done. And look at all these people, all of us sharing all this information and figuring out what this world really is. That'll never be, that is, forget about it. That's a big thorn in their side that'll never go away. But I think I do really believe part of the new world, well, not the new world, like New World Order, but part of this, if we could get rid of these people and get them out of our country and finally be able to live our own way, I think one of the things will be free energy. I really do believe that it exists. I hope, I haven't heard this anywhere, but I don't see why we couldn't get a shorter work week going. I really think, I just personally, and I've a hard worker my whole life, so I don't want to give off the impression that I'm lazy, because my whole life, the only thing that's ever got me ahead in life is hard work, and I don't know any other way. However, just looking at it, 5-day work week is inhumane. How could you work more days than you live? That's insane, dude. I think a 3-day work week is what you should have. I'm sorry. And I know that would really change everything. And one time I worked out a whole calendar where it'd be like 3 days on, like 2 crews, like split up all the jobs. And like one crew would work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and the other one would work Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And you do that for a couple months, and then you'd switch, which would then give one of you like 7 days off every 3 months. And then, the other would be... you'd have to work 6 out of 7 days every 3 months, but like each would get the same, every 3 months. I don't know. I should find that and post it somewhere. I always thought that was a good idea. But I just like if you think about it, freaking one time, like, well, I work construction. It really, man, I'd be so exhausted. I would have to drive an hour and a half in the morning, which again, thank you guys so much to people who, hit up my PayPal and my Patreons. I don't think you guys realize you've changed my whole life. And I have been so motivated by you guys to just do this as hard as possible. And I was doing it as hard as possible anyway. So I don't even know how much it changed, but it's so motivating to want to make you guys proud of me. And you've really changed my whole life to be able to do this as my own profession. I'm still, unfortunately, I'm not even, I'm about at 33% of my bills. So, I've probably lost about 40 grand doing this. But, that's neither here nor there. I decided to do that. No one asked me to do this. I did that on my own. I was saving up for a house, for a couple years. So luckily I had the money, which I don't anymore, but it's all right. This is change the world stuff. I'd rather spend that money on this, and I wouldn't have, that money wouldn't have gone nearly as far if it wasn't for my Patreon and you guys and the PayPal, and people really, amazing on that PayPal. But I didn't mean 33% of believer. Some of you guys, man, with the fucking symbols, you're killing me lately. A third. I'm about at a third of my bills. All right. Whatchamacallit? Yeah, pick another number. I know. Oh my god. I did something the other day. I did a quick like COVID math where I was the population of the world of the United States is 328,800,000. But I couldn't remember that right off the bat. So I was like, whatever. 330,000, 330 million, 0.00000. And I just did it quick to show something, like the survival rate's like 99.96 or something. And then someone was like, oh my god, you used 33, you're a freaking child, you're a freaking racist, all this stuff. And I was like, well, first of all, I used 330 million, not 33. But also it's like, dude, I was just rounding it off quick. It was like, well, why didn't you round to 329? I was like, well, if I knew the number, I would have just used 800. But, I don't know, some of the symbolism, honestly, is fucking cancer. I'm not going to lie. But I see people, like, post pictures like people like talking and like blah blah blah, and they'll freeze frame it. And they're like, he's giving the 666. Like, that's the fucking okay sign. Relax, psycho. Or or they'll post like musicians doing the metal sign. It's like anyone who's ever been to a rock concert in their whole life. Everyone I know in my whole life has done the metal sign, and I personally haven't tried not to do it in the last 3 years because it means something different to me now. But that being said, like finding a picture of someone from the 80s doing the metal sign, and trying to think that's your big fucking reveal is kind of cringy. I'm not going to lie. But, yeah, 33 confirmed. Yeah. But, yeah, I think people, like them, like there's a thing of LeBron, right? And he does, like, throws up the powder, and he does, like, the pyramid in front of his face and flashes like a sly okay sign. Maybe that. I could maybe dig that. Or if the people put it up to their eye, like, I don't know if it would be the right. I guess the right hand or the left hand? I don't know. Anyway. Like, if someone's putting it up to their eye, probably give it a sign. But, someone that's like, remember when Kekistan, it was like, got the left to think that it meant white power? That was fucking funny. And then it was said it was like for a whole year, like, he got the okay sign. That means white power. It's like, man, dude, you guys are idiots. But I don't doubt that they do it from time to time, but it's like weird. Like anything anyone sees anywhere. And then sometimes I'm like, oh man, did I contribute to this in some way with some of my videos? And I'm sure, especially in the beginning, I imagine I probably went a little further than I should have. But Mally Hope says, what's up, Gematria? I don't personally like Gematria. I was getting into it like a touch. I didn't really, I've never done a video with Gematria, but just on my own thing in the beginning, I was digging it a little bit, but then I realized the things that come up is just an endless list. And I remember I saw something that like had different things that contradicted itself, and I was like, well, why is this one at the top? It was like, oh, well, that's because someone searched Soros way more than something else. And it's like, so you could just type things into a gematria calculator endlessly until something lines up, and that's where I was like, all right, I don't know about this. But, they could use it. I don't know. Borrowed or barrowed? What's barrowed mean? It's endless. You gotta discern the answers for your topic. The rest is fodder. That's how I feel too. They love 33 because it reverses on itself. 3E, E3. And what does that mean with the 3? Just that they can mirror it or whatever? Australian bed? You are hilarious. Thank you. I'll be here all evening. Gematria is a tool to distract. I kind of feel that way, but again, I just might not understand it. Maybe it's possible I'm not using it right either. But I personally, a couple times, like I was starting to get into it, and then I started realizing, I'm like, you can just fucking use this for anything. Like, I don't know. It seems a little bit much, personally. I wonder what the statistical chances of my chat messages being lost to the ether. I would say not so good, since it's right there and readable. Striff Sal, who called in the other night when I co-hosted Conspiracy Couch with Laura of Sirius on her channel, and he was talking about, Striff Sal was talking about how he has I forget now. No, I don't forget. It's like a night vision where he's been gotten like different unidentified flying objects in space. And honestly, I know you keep talking about live streaming it, Bud, but you should just record them and post them. And I think that would be pretty cool. Trust is SETI to some extent, but his place is apparently an energetic powerhouse. So there's your evidence. Yeah, SETI looks cool. I don't know much about it, but it seems cool. I geek out on that stuff, man. I know there's something with the mountain there, right? Where people see a lot of crafts there. But again, I really don't know it too well. But great whites are racist. Yeah, seriously, dude. Especially like when they eat surfers of different races. It's pretty messed up. You know, Jaws is written from a town in Jersey. I want to say Long Branch, something like that. I forget. No, not Long Branch. Whatever. It's immaterial. But from what I understand, what I heard, you know, people in Jersey, apparently that was a real story with a crazy great white that was killing people off the beach, and then they wrote the book about something that happened off of Jersey Beach. So what's up? Does everyone know the new channel name now? Post-Joy Flurry of Logical Faction. I kind of felt bad. I didn't like. It's weird. Like one hand, you don't want to say it because I kind of like does away with the camouflage aspect. But on the other hand, it's like, well, now my views just got cut. You know, like a quarter. But you know, to a quarter of what they were. But if you search just Logical Faction, I noticed it comes up. But it's a line. If like there's an old like poem I posted. My page has just been whatever's popped in my mind for my whole friggin' life for like the last 10 years. And at one point I wrote this cool little thing, you know, that I thought was cool about but basically how we don't know anything. You know, like as much as we all learn, there's so much in this world. We still don't know nothing. You know, we still don't know anything. But I'm an a priori guy myself. Right on. Yeah, a posteriori is knowledge you acquire from actually observing it, and a priori is knowledge you acquire from simple, just reasoning wise. You don't necessarily need to observe it. It's just something that you can reason out without having to observe it. So anyway, like there was some random thing from like 10 years ago, just some quick little thing I wrote that one of the lines is priori flurry of Logical Faction, and I always thought that was cool. And it's like enough time has passed where you look back on stuff like that, it's like someone else wrote it. You know, it doesn't even feel like me at this point. So it's not like I'm like, you know, blah blah blah. But you know, in hindsight, I was like, that was kind of cool. I wonder what I was smoking then. You know? But that was that. I was having some good sativa. But oh man, dude, time's flying. 2:14. See. Is there anything else? I probably should go to sleep soon. I'm gonna go play disc golf tomorrow. It's funny, I had like 20 minutes worth of articles, and now I've just been like jabbering off for a freaking hour and a half. I prefer indica. It's weird, like indica is good if you want to chill, and sativa is good if you want to go like party and shit. But man, yeah, like I said, today's 21 days where I haven't blazed out, which is the longest I've gone. It doesn't sound like a lot. I'm sure there's people out there right now like, all right, big deal. But it's the longest I've gone, and it's in about 10 years. And if I can make something like 2 months. No, like a month and a half. If I can make a month and a half, it'll be the longest I've gone since I got off probation in 2002. And so that's what I'm going for. I'm going for more than that. I think I'm just gonna friggin' I think I'm just probably gonna stop indefinitely. You know, knock on wood. But it's cool, man. It's fun being clear. And I never really did it too much for the last like 5 years or so. I've been like a 1 or 2 hit a night. You know, just friggin' relax a little. So I never really get like blown out anyway. Before that, you know, for many years, I would definitely go off the deep end. But you know, so it's probably not, I don't have to really detox that much anyway. But you know, it's just, you know, I already quit drinking, like I said, 7 years ago. I quit friggin' smoking cigarettes 7 years ago. I've never been into other drugs, thank God. I mean, unfortunately, the reason I haven't been into other drugs is because I saw them rip through my neighborhood, and I saw them change my friends and all the horrors that they cause and stuff. And enough for me to be like, all right, you know, like pills. Oh my God, dude, I will never, ever take a painkiller for as long as F that, dude. That is just like, I broke my ankle probably like 2014 or something, and they were like throwing Percocet prescriptions out. I mean, I'm like, oh, thank you, like right in the garbage, dude. I'll eat it. I will eat that pain. Like, it sucked if anyone's ever broke their ankle, but it sucked a lot less than becoming, than getting addicted and becoming a junkie. So as I've seen so many of my friends, and it's just like, there's so many people I know have gone in for stupid things and got themselves hurt, and the next thing you know, they're just on painkillers forever. And yeah, I do know people who it hasn't turned to a junkie. People who really are in pain, and it actually has helped them. So I guess I have seen that side too. I'm not gonna lie, but I've also seen it turn people into like straight up, And then a lot of times, what happens, a lot of them then, that gets too expensive, and then they go to like heroin and stuff. And I've probably know 15 to 20 people I grew up with who just checked out, probably didn't even make their mid-30s, and I guess lucky for me, I got to see it firsthand that I knew no way. It was just maybe a little drink from time to time, or a little puff pass, and that was all I ever needed. But now I think I'm ready to just nothing. Screw it, man. High on life. Painkillers give me constipation. See, that's what I mean. Who wants constipation? No, but that Bert says, I wish I could have kids. I would drink a lot less. I'm sorry, man. I also wish I had kids. Actually, I guess now I'm kind of like at the age where I'm like, I don't know. Maybe it wouldn't be a good idea to have kids. But I guess that's one good thing about being a guy, is you can still at some point. But I think I'm kind of at the point where I'm not sure I ever will. Who knows? I don't know what will happen, but in the future. But like I said, I'm like single and 40, and it's weird because like this like friggin' bugged my girlfriend out when all this stuff happened. This girl I was dating for a couple of years, and especially after I got shared by a certain insider, that really bugged her out. And then she was like, blah blah blah, and that was basically the end of it. So, kind of like, I don't know. I guess I'm like a little gun shy after that. How do you like date a girl like, oh, by the way, here's my YouTube. But I don't know. So we'll see. Who knows? I'm very focused on this. And hey, look what happened. I got the focus for the last year plus, actually on me and what I was doing. And I've actually had all the time in the world. A lot of my friends don't even know. I don't even have like, so many of my friends don't even know that I'm back on my YouTube doing this, because it's like, I don't know. It's weird. It's like I don't have, like, you guys are the only people for the most part, me and like a couple friends, who I have to talk about this. But I feel like, especially like people like us who I talk to in private chats, I'm like, I'm probably being annoying, to be honest, because like you don't have a lot of people to talk about this stuff with, but it's cool. That's why I love you guys. This is fun. This is cool. Maybe I'll do more live streams. I don't know if I'll do more like midnight live streams, but who knows? I'm a night owl, so maybe I will. But this could be cool from time to time during the week. Alcohol kills infection. Vodka plus OJ any more than necessary is gluttonous. I was a big fan of. I used to like 151 and Pepsi. They used to be my drink. You'd get a nice little buzz on after a while. But other than that, he's like a good Scotch. And friggin' I don't know, Johnny Walker Blue. It's when you can, obviously, but I didn't drink much, so I'd get a bottle of that and it would last me months and months and months. Just a glass every now and then. But I definitely, since I quit drinking 7 years ago, that cleared my head out so freaking much. So I bet some of your female followers love to date you. Yeah, maybe that would be cool. But right now, like I said, I'm focused on this, so we'll see. This is it's like weird. Like I feel like I spent my 20s and 30s from like relationship, and then it's like you blink and then you're whatever age. It's like now for once I spent this last year actually focusing on me, and look what happened. So I don't know. It's like that's also in the back of my head too. Dark Star says, "Don't trust alcohol, asshole." Donald Trump, don't trust China. That dude is awesome. Hong Kong hero. Is that a dime bag Washburn in the background? Why, yes, sir, it is. And that is my favorite guitar of all time. And actually, that's Eddie Van Halen. You know, he was a big Eddie Van Halen fan. And I forget it. You know, when Dimebag Darrell was the lead guitarist for Pantera, who was actually murdered on stage in 2004. And I think they buried him like one of Eddie's guitars or something like that. It's a weird little tie-in there. Again, for those of you who are coming in late, Eddie Van Halen passed the other day, and to me, that's just one of my, that's just one of my biggest inspirations for playing the guitar. I'm a lifelong musician. That's really, my whole life I thought I was gonna play music. Now it's funny. Now I look digging into the music industry. I'm like, oh man, thank God I didn't become like a famous musician. I don't know how much I would have been able to handle it if anyone started doing creepy stuff with me. I got a big mouth, so. But it's funny, like me, like I said, like I do have a couple friends who do know this stuff, and we all talk, and they're like my friends from like different bands and stuff, and we joke like that sometimes. We're like, holy crap, dude, all these years we were trying to make it in the music business, and you can't even get anyone to watch. You can't even get anyone to look at a demo. So I don't know how these bands make it, or maybe it was just us, but I felt like we had great stuff, and we always laugh. We're like, man, thank God we didn't make it in any kind of entertainment freaking business. Like, screw that, man. Write a Q song. I have one. I don't know. It might be on private now. I definitely tried to do a little camo through my page with all the crap that's coming down. But it's most like everything that you go to look for on my page, if it's on private, or if they have taken down stuff too from my page, a lot of stuff actually. Probably about 3 or 4 videos. It's all gets uploaded on my BitChute right away. So everything's on my BitChute. I also have, if you look on the channels part of my page, I was originally going to use one as a backup page that just says Brad Cologero Getz, which I just wound up using as, like the other day, yesterday I posted myself playing Don't Cry by Guns N' Roses. I thought it was funny. It was like in my head from an inside joke the night before, so I was like, I should do this. But, so that's kind of a personal page, so if you want to see Buster videos and me jamming on my guitar, you can go to that. But I do have a clips page that I started. I've posted a little bit on it, but I'm going to start sectioning it out. And if anyone has clips of videos, like people always used to ask me, oh, can you solo out this section of this video? Well, that's why I made that for. But it's like now it's so much time's passed, I forget a lot of things people have asked. So if you ever have any requests of that, I'll definitely cut out a little section and post it to the clips page. And then I do have... now it says PFLF2. It used to be, for a long time, it was just a post-Jerry Flurry of Logical Faction, which is my clone channel that I've been building, video by video. And people some people comment, I don't think they realize it's a clone channel, because I'm still like posting videos from 2018 in there, and they're like, why are you posting this now? That happened 2 years ago. And I'm like, relax, man, I'm posting all my videos in order as like a backup. But yeah, definitely camo has been activated. So definitely go to my BitChute for things that you don't think that probably are not on YouTube anymore. Success is surviving this life with soul fully intact. That is right. That is correct. Anyone watch the Trump card by Dinesh D'Souza? No, I heard it's awesome though. I definitely got to see that. The few people I know who saw that loved it. I don't know if they gave me a synopsis, so I can't speak on it. But yeah, I heard it was good. Mother Station wanted to be a musician too. Yeah, that's I feel like they kind of pepper that dream, so then you're like, you just like think like, well, I'm gonna be a rock star one day, and then you're like 25 and like, man, one I'm gonna have to tell my work, you know, when I get that big deal and I have to go on tour. And then you're 35 and you're like, all right, I guess that's not gonna happen. But it's still fun. It's still, you know, I have a lifetime. I've probably written 100 songs, most of which are posted at the bottom of my page. But yeah, it's cool. I just, you know, it's very therapeutic. I still play my guitar to this day. It's, you know, something's on your mind and just jam out. So it's definitely cool. Playing shows is a lot of fun. And but man, yeah, the music industry seems pretty screwed up. I feel like the music industry and the sports, for a lot of them, I think maybe a lot of them aren't necessarily compromised. I feel like they're the two industries that can really, regular people do break into, and maybe aren't always necessarily exposed to things, or if they see things, they're like, oh crap, and can keep their distance. But, you know, that's just a theory. I don't know. Oh, Believer. Hold on. Let me, I don't know how to I think someone made a mistake and killed your comment, Believer. But he's saying that I was playing the Pony one more time before the winter, and they're in Bergen. Bergen's a place in Jersey, and the Pony is Asbury Park. That's pretty freaking cool. I've played the Pony one time, but I haven't been there in a while. But that's cool, man. Believer, leave after this is done. I don't know if you could. Can you leave regular comments during a live stream? I don't know if you can, but if you can, put the name of your band in the chat after this. That's be cool to know. Don't give up because your remixes are hilarious. Really good. Good old Stone Pony. Yeah, I know. Like when I do a premiere, when I premiere a video, you can leave comments also, and everyone's like, "Thanks for leaving your comments open." I'm like, I don't know. Is that I didn't do that on purpose? So I guess that's how it is. I'm not opposed to it, but I think that's because typically live streams you can't. But I don't know. I think I'm starting to fade here, guys. Anyone have any last things you want to talk about over here before I join Buster and Sleepland? There's no place to leave comments during the stream. Yeah, so I guess while the live stream's going, you can't leave a regular comment. Every time you do these live streams, like hanging out with a cool friend. Thanks, Cologero, and good night to everyone. Oh, why, thank you. I feel like I'm hanging out with a lot of friends right now. Anyone catch how many people were in the chat? It's probably less now than which was at the peak, but I don't know. $460 or so. Hey, that's pretty cool. But Believer saying, "Well, I do another show soon." Nah, man, those days are over. It's funny. I did a show with my friend. We learned a bunch of covers, and we played for his church. My buddy, he's run his own church for a long time now. And it's funny. A lot of people in the comments were like, "This is Satan music." We're playing like AC/DC and stuff. It was like, dude, you gotta turn it off every now and then. Like, you know, friggin'. And it's like, and I was laughing. I was like, this guy is a minister that runs his own church, and people backing us up are people who help him, and we're playing to his church right now. So, and he picked the songs. But we might do learn another set real quick. But because that was a lot of fun, and I needed that, man. That was like the first show I played in maybe 8 years, something ridiculous. I forget. I say it in the beginning of that show because I figured it out right before that. Oh, he had the wet blanket. But all right, man. Hey, this was a lot of fun, guys, and I hope you had some fun. And maybe I'll try and do. Although the last one, I was like, I'll try and do this more, and I think that was in June. So who knows? But I do live stream every Friday night on Craig Mason's channel, the friggin' Friday Night Show. Every now and then I'll post the link in here, but for the most part, Craig has a great channel too, and definitely you should guys subscribe to him anyway. But every Friday night I am live with Craig, and we go over different things about what's going on, and it's a lot of fun. And you know, definitely, and that's it. And of course, you know, if you guys want to support the channel to help me get above 34%, see, I got it this time, not 33%. If you want to help me get to my bills above 34%, you know, there's a Patreon and PayPal in the stream, but I'm sure a lot of you already do, and I really appreciate it, and it helps me put these videos out for free, which I shouldn't say this, I'm going to put them out for free anyway. But, you know, if you want to hook it up, that would also help. But, anyway, rock on. I will talk to you guys soon. I got an interview. I did an interview with Zoso Dude 77 that I'm going to have to go through, and I'll add some cool stuff on it that I'm going to go through in the next couple days. That'll be fun. He went across the whole United States, did a whole traverse of the United States on his freaking motorcycle. So so I interviewed him now on the trip on the whole, and it was pretty cool. And so I'm going to put that together and hopefully have that together next week. But I'll also have regular videos coming too. And yeah, I will talk to you guys soon. Take care. Yeah, ci vediamo dopo. Yeah, see you tomorrow. Or ci vediamo, or see you after dopo. Ci vediamo domani and see you tomorrow. All right.